What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Clint's Hot Props. That's right, we are going over the board at UFC Vegas 107, and we are looking at what I feel are the most value-packed props on the board. Whether you want to mix and match these, parlay these up, round robin them, do whatever you guys feel like. I'm going to tell you about what I think are the best prop spots for UFC Vegas 107 on this show. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit that subscribe if you haven't, and make sure you jump in the comment section below and let me know your favorite prop for UFC Vegas 107. Now, guys, I know we have talked in the past about making sure we are focusing on hitting these props. We want the good, solid props. We want the ones that are going to cash. And even if that means laying a little bit of chalk, we're going to suck it up and we're going to take it. We're value hunting this week. You guys, this is a dumpster dive of a card. This is a low-level beat-em-up type of fight card, and you know those are my favorite. And usually when we get those, you get some craziness. You get some of these wild props that people don't see coming, that come through. You see the big long shots hit. I do not think this is going to be your cookie-cutter week, so we are going to talk about some crazy props on this show here today. Buckle up. Wild card, baby. Let's get after it. First fight of the night. Raoni Dos Santos takes on Elise Ardeline. Now, Elise Ardeline is a TikTok star who somehow got signed by the UFC, who is not cutting it at the UFC level, and she's taken on Raoni Dos Santos, who admittedly is a little bit small for the weight class, but has been essentially robbed in back-to-back UFC fights. One of these women is a real fighter, the other one is not. And I think we are going to see that difference on Saturday. The line tells you everything you need to know. After losing back-to-back split decisions in the UFC, Raoni Dos Santos is a minus 270 favorite. I think there's worlds difference between these women on the ground. Raoni Dos Santos has big-time power in her hands when she chooses to use it. However, Elise Ardeline is going to be the bigger-bodied individual, but she has less skills. I expect this fight to hit the ground at some point, and frankly, I think Raoni Dos Santos has a massive grappling edge, you guys. Raoni Dos Santos by sub at plus 500 is something that I'm extremely interested in here for this fight. If she goes in there with the intent to win this fight, her best path to victory is making sure it stays out of the hands of the judges, because she is the judges' favorite target for robberies right now. They've taken 2 fights in a row for her. What's the remedy for that? Do not give them the opportunity to take a third from you. She needs a finish here on Saturday, you guys. She needs to be impressive. She needs to save her job, and she needs to leave zero doubt that she was the winner of this fight. She has 8 wins by submission. I believe she is a BJJ black belt, and Elise Ardeline is an old woman who started training late in life, who is on TikTok a whole bunch, who I believe is like a blue belt at this point, a purple belt maybe, and she's got back-to-back losses in the UFC, 2 submission losses on her career already as is. I fully expect this to be a goofy submission opportunity here for Raoni Dos Santos if she just goes for it. Raoni, please, don't leave it up to the judges. Get it done. Get the win. Get your hand raised. Give me a plus 500 casher. Raoni Dos Santos by sub is the look here. Next up, Trevon Giles by decision, you guys, plus 400. I know you all think I'm insane. I actually just broke this down on the Total Takedown, so if you want to see the over and under show, make sure you check that out here on the channel as well. But the way that Trevon Giles loses against mid to low tier competition is decisions. The way he wins at the UFC level is by decision. You guys look back at what he's been doing. The people finishing him are the cream of the crop. Carlos Prates, Gabriel Bonfim, you've got Michael Morales, Dricus Du Plessis. Those are the people finishing Trevon Giles. Everybody else, it's all decisions. Mike Malott went to a decision with him. Preston Parsons, Luis Cosi. You've got James Krause. You've got Roman Dolidze. Like, these guys are all going the full 15 with him because of the way that he fights. He's coming in here on short notice, so he's probably going to look to conserve that gas tank. And he's fighting at a catch weight, so he's going to have a little extra poundage on him, which means a little extra water in the brain, right? I think this is built for him to survive an onslaught from a rookie in the UFC, someone who's too old to be considered a prospect, and I think this fight goes. I think we're going to see a lot of clinching, a lot of grappling, and the one thing we can tell you about Trevon Giles is his submission defense is on point. So if he doesn't get clipped with something big early, I expect this to go the distance. He's the better striker, he's got the better jab, he's got the more intelligent game plan, he's battle-tested at this level, and this guy coming off Dana White's Contender Series is 34 years old and has fought absolutely nobody. So I expect Trevon Giles to win this fight. And the way Trevon Giles wins in the year of our Lord 2025 is probably a greasy-ass decision. So plus 400 Trevon Giles by decision, that's the best look on that card in my opinion. I know a lot of people are going to tell you Andreas to win by KO. However, this is a big step up in competition. I don't know if he's got the kind of power or the skills to back that up against someone who is absolutely, middle of the road at least, UFC caliber. João Filo takes on Alan Nassimento in the next fight. Now, this one's tough for me, you guys, because I want to give you the easy peasy, right? So, Alan Nassimento by decision plus 130. It's sitting right there. It's staring me right in the face. That's the one that kind of makes sense. But João Filo is a murderous fighter in the UFC. He is a kill or be killed, live and die by the sword type of fighter. If Alan Nassimento has his way off a 2-year layoff, he's going to size bully his way to a win in this fight, and that's what he's been doing in the UFC for a little bit. If you give him the opportunity to submit you, he will take it. So there is a chance that Alan Nassimento gets a round 2, round 3 type of sub where he bullies his way to it, tires out João Filo, and then takes it later on, right? Or he can just hang on for dear life and get that decision, which we've also seen before. However, I think current form is something we got to speak on, right? Alan Nassimento's been out of the cage for 2 years. I don't know what he looks like. He's had 4 different fights fall through recently. So is he healthy? Is he coming back because he needs a paycheck? Is the UFC telling him he better step in there if he wants to keep his contract? There's a lot of questions around what's going on with Alan Nassimento at this point. João Filo, on the other hand, is on a 3-fight win streak. He's the UFC's boy. He's lighting people on fire. He's putting up highlight reels on people. This guy is someone the UFC really likes right now. And if he's going to win this fight, it is probably because he goes out there and goes to war the way he has in his last couple of fights. And his best path to victory is using that Nova União BJJ black belt and plus 600. I know Alan Nassimento has never been finished. I get that. But if he's not healthy, off a layoff, big weight cut, what do tired people do, ladies and gentlemen? That's right, they tap. I think we could see João Filo cook Alan Nassimento and take advantage of a submission when it presents itself in a scramble. So at plus 600, that's the sprinkle. We're looking at a potential sub for João Filo. That one is a little bit more of a greasy one because I'm not sure what Alan Nassimento looks like, you guys. Make sure you tune in for the Undefeated post-weigh-in show. I think that's going to tell us a lot about what we need to know when it comes to Alan Nassimento tomorrow on Friday. So we will put a pin in it, but I kind of like that plus 600 number by sub. Zachary Reese and Dusco Todorovic, and you guys know where I'm going with this one. Zachary Reese is a bum. Yes, you could take Zach Reese by KO at minus 120. That is his only path to victory. I mean, I guess you could take Zach Reese by sub, so let's look at the inside the distance number on Zach Reese, just so nobody screams at me. I know you're going to get in the chat down below. I know you're going to get in the comments and tell me that's the way to do it. Zach Reese inside the distance is minus 185, so you're not even getting a real good deal on that, right? But you want to protect yourself because KO is not the only option, believe it or not. Dusco, while he's been a UFC fade for me, is, I think, higher level than Zach Reese. It all comes down to the physical stature of these guys. It comes down to the shape that they're in. It comes down to how good their brains are coming into this fight. While both of them have been knocked out very recently, Dusco was knocked out by one of the hottest prospects in the division and has had several months to recover. Zach Reese had his head bounced off the canvas by Azat Bekov just a couple months ago, and then the ref also knocked his head around a couple extra times trying to save him. I don't think he's recovered, you guys. I think it is way too quick of a turnaround for him to be recovered. And with a fighter like Zach Reese, when you go life and death, you usually don't come out and want to do that again when you lose. So I think we could see a slower Zach Reese. I think we could see a wanting to grapple Zach Reese in this fight because he doesn't want that feeling again. He's been knocked out twice badly in the UFC. This is a get the win, get back on track type of spot for him. So I'm sure he might come out and strike initially, but we have seen Dusco take some really big shots. I mean, even against Mansour, the ref stepped in and saved his life. He was refusing to go away in that fight. This man went to decision with Gregory Rodriguez. Don't let the round 1 KO fool you against Chris Leroy Duncan. Go back and watch the tape. His knee blew out. That was not something CLD did. That was a freak accident where his body just exploded. This guy can take some shots. And while I think there's a very good chance Zach Reese finishes him in the first round with big shots because that's what he does, that's his win condition, I also think Dusco can dog this one out. And we've seen that if you make it a dog fight, Zach Reese loses that fight. And once this fight gets going, Zach Reese will end up on his back, Dusco will end up on top of him, and rain down ground and pound, which is exactly what happened in his last fight. And that is a way to stop this man. Plus 300, Dusco Todorovic by KO TKO. That's where I'm looking. That's where my money will be. I will be taking a shot on the dog in this fight. Fade Zach Reese at all costs as far as I am concerned. I want to give a shout out to my guy Tim Troiano from the co-host of the Lambeau Plays podcast, Ketlin Vieira and Macy Chasson. He let us know that the split decision prop on this fight was minus 350 when we broke down the fight on the Monday show. That's not entirely accurate. The fight to go to split decision here is actually, well, I don't know why it's not giving me the split, plus 275 for the fight to be won by split or majority decision. Don't pick a side. Just take fight goes to split decision at plus 275. I think that makes a ton of sense because, yeah, you could get like a dominating 29-28 type of fight, but it's women's MMA. Both these women won it. I think we're going to see a lot of clinching. Fight goes to split decision is highly likely, in my opinion, in this one. And if you want to pick your side, Vieira by split is plus 500. Macy Chasson by split plus 475. There you go, Tim. Shout out to you, buddy. Thanks for pointing that out. I agree that's a prop you might want to consider this week. Billy Ray Goff and Ramiz Brahimaj is a fight that I want to bring to you guys next. And this one is where, I can't reach my tinfoil hat right now, but if I could, I'd be switching caps here on you guys. Ramiz Brahimaj by KO is 11-1. Just let that sink in for a minute. Ramiz has been working dedicatedly on his striking. He's working out with Bilal Muhammad, which I told you guys is the best base for MMA. He recently got his very first KO victory over none other than Mickey Gall in his last fight. Now, Mickey Gall's been knocked out, a couple of different times, but it's usually people with some, serious pop on their punches, right? Mike Malott knocked him out in the first round, which nobody's really surprised by that. It was a lot of blood in that fight as well that could have helped lead to the stoppage. And then a long time ago, he got TKO'd by Diego Sanchez. That was more of a levels and exhaustion type of finish loss than it was really the thunderous force of his opponent. So for Ramiz to come out and spark him in the first round the way he did, to me that speaks volumes about where this guy is at, his capabilities, his power, the way his striking has increased. I think that's a bit of a big deal. Now, Billy Ray Goff is a guy that comes forward, he blocks punches with his face, and he forces you into a gunfight. That's all he's ever done. You look back at the Trey Waters fight, he just rammed himself face first into Trey Waters and took everything Trey had to offer and kept coming. This guy's been wobbled, rocked, dropped in multiple fights. He's got that dog in him. He will fight back into it if he gets the opportunity. But we're just, one of these days, it's not going to work. He's not going to be able to punch his way back in. One of these guys is going to crack him and put him down, and he's not going to be able to recover from it. That could be Saturday. If Ramiz Brahimaj truly has leveled up, and this guy belongs, and he's staying around here, he's playing for keeps, we're going to get a barn burner of a first and second round here, and one of these guys is going down, likely via KO. And after seeing what he did in his last fight, I think at 11-1, you got to just take a sprinkle. This is not like my most confident pick on the card. This is not back up the Brinks truck. This should be the money line. No. But at 11-1, you got to sprinkle. The next fight I want to talk to you about is the co-main event. Matteo Scamrock takes on Dovvic Klein. And kind of similar to the last fight, right? Dovvic Klein by KO is plus 380. And I think he can knock out Matteo Scamrock. Scamrock's getting older, you guys. He gets dropped in literally half of his UFC fights, so like pretty regularly. And the stats are missing the drop that happened in the Dan Hooker fight. We all saw it. It absolutely happened. He got dropped. The UFC didn't give Dan Hooker credit for it, but it happened. His chin is failing him. The UFC is trying to bury him. He is a boring, relentless grappler, and that's not what they want for the modern day product of MMA. So they're absolutely putting him up against somebody who can steal big moments, who can steal big highlights. And while I think Dovvic Klein is fully capable of defending the takedowns and scoring with his strikes and then winning a decision here, we saw RDA almost into this guy in their fight, right? Rafael Dos Anjos, the former lightweight, almost got rid of Matteo Scamrock via knockout. I was sitting on a 10-1 knockout sprinkle that night, and it was very close to happening. The number's not nearly as good, but I also think Dovvic Klein has every single, steroid is the wrong word, but he's got some enhancements coursing through those veins right now. So at plus 380, I think you got to at least consider it. I think he's very live to win via decision. Scamrock by decision is minus 120, obviously. That makes a ton of sense if you think he's going to get the grappling going. But I do think there's a chance that this is kind of a changing of the guard type of fight. A 34-year-old veteran of the sport, mainstay grappler versus an in his prime 30-year-old kickboxer who's learned how to shuck takedowns off of him. I think the UFC is rooting for the knockout here too. So plus 380, got to take a sprinkle. Main event time, Erin Blanchfield takes on Macy Barber. Once again, this leans heavily on my breakdown for the total takedown. I talked about the under and the over here for this fight, and I actually think that with leaning towards the over, why are we not looking at Macy Barber plus 450? This fight's going the distance, in my opinion, you guys. I know Macy Barber's talking about leaving Erin Blanchfield in a bloody pulp, except we've heard Colby talk about like his opponents like that for years, right? He's talked about leaving them in a pool of their own blood, broken and battered, and it just never happens. He goes out there and grinds his way every single fight. I think it's kind of the same thing with Macy. Now, don't get me wrong. She's got some hands. Macy's got very solid power for this weight class. She's very strong. She's very physical. But she also kind of gets the knockout or doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, that's a weird way to put that. But, like, she's either working her way through a fight or she has a spectacular moment where she can finish you. Now, Amanda Ribas is the last person that Macy Barber knocked out. I personally was sitting on a plus 400 KO prop that night. And that's because I know Amanda Ribas is chinny as hell. And she puts herself right in the line of fire every single time. She eats punches with her face. And I knew that was going to work out well for Macy Barber. But you go back and you look at the other fights that she's had. The last person she KO'd was Jillian Robertson in the wrong weight class in 2019. Caitlin, decision. Amanda Ribas, KO. Andrea Lee, decision. Jessica Ai, decision. Montana De La Rosa, decision. Miranda Maverick, decision. Alessa Grasso, decision. Roxanne Modafferi, decision. Like, this girl goes to decision a lot because it's women's MMA, and it's hard to put these tougher women away. Erin Blanchfield, never been finished. She just went the 5-minute distance with Rose Namajunas. She just went to a decision with title challenger Manon Fiorot. She went a full 15 minutes with Taila Santos. Like, this girl is tough. You're not getting her out of there with strikes. And Erin Blanchfield has a submission threat. However, that submission threat has come against Jessica Andrade, who has now been absolutely exposed for not being able to grapple with these women at 125 pounds, and Jessica Aldrich, or JJ Aldrich, who stuck her neck out there one time, and that was a wrap. Macy Barber is not going to stick her neck out there like that. Macy is not going to make that mistake. So I do not believe she's going to get submitted. I don't believe she's going to get bullied and give up an arm triangle or something like that. She's good enough with her submission defense, even if she ends up on her back. I doubt Erin is going to just be able to run through her that way. So we're going to end up with a kickboxing match, you guys. And a women's MMA kickboxing match is probably going to go over. I believe this is going to go the full 25 minutes. And if it does, I believe it will be competitive, where Macy Barber will steal moments with bigger shots, potentially opening Erin Blanchfield up, making her bleed. And at plus 450, when the fight is minus 220 to go to the distance, why are we not looking at Macy Barber to win a decision when she's 4.5 to 1 and her opponent is even money? Give me Macy Barber by decision at plus 450, you guys. That's Clint's hot props. Hopefully we take a shot on some of these. Maybe we hit a little parlay this week. It's the week to do it. This is exactly the kind of week where we can do this shit. Hope this helped you guys out. Let me know again what your favorite prop is in the chat below. And frankly, you guys, if we are looking for the old submission special like I like to do, I don't know if this is the week, because I like Reone Dos Santos by sub and I like Jafel Filo by sub. But frankly, the only other sub on the board that I really kind of would be attracted to would be like Zach Reese by sub. And I don't think he's getting a sub, and I don't necessarily think that he's winning even. So I don't have a third leg to put in on that. It's 41 to 1 if you just want to do those two. But that's where I actually kind of prefer like an anti-violence decision parlay or a KO parlay or something like that this week, because you've got more options to mix and match. But there you go. Little peek behind the curtain on what might be coming on Saturday morning. Love you guys. See you tomorrow for the Undefeated Post Weigh-In Show. Let's rock.